Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Working with Investors workshop. My name is Robert Rodriguez, and I will be your instructor today. Guys, I am pleased to have you here, part of our training. If you have any questions throughout our presentation, please feel free to unmute yourselves. Ask questions. This is a workshop. This is for you guys to learn how to find investment properties using multiple programs like the MLS. We're going to also use RPR. We're going to use IMAP. We're going to use different programs to help you find that right investment property for your clients. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. But before we do, I do want to mention that we are recording our session, and you can always find our sessions inside of our YouTube channel. This is our YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and share this with you on the chat. Those of you that are with us right now, you can click on the link and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to find all of our past trainings in here. As a reminder, we do have trainings often, every Tuesday and Thursday. So you guys are more than welcome to join us for our trainings. All right. So give me 1 second while I share this YouTube channel with you guys on the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, let's copy this address here. And there you go. You guys have now the YouTube channel there in the chat, guys. So go ahead and visit it, subscribe, and watch some of our trainings. All right, so today's class is on working with investors. And what that means is really we're going to do a workshop on how to find the right investment property for your buyers. We have all kinds of investors looking for all kinds of investment properties, whether they're looking for a fix and flip, or they're looking for a single family or condo that's available to rent, or they're looking for multi-family properties. Finding those properties are easy. However, analyzing the returns and finding the best possible return is really where we have to do our due diligence and our homework. And this class, we hope that you're able to learn how to do those analyses. All right, so we're going to begin inside the MLS, of course. Now, the MLS is where we find all the properties that are up for sale, right? We are also going to use some auction websites. I want to show you a little bit about auctions, like auction.com and others. All right, so but beginning first in the MLS. Now, if you have a client that's looking for a quick fix and flip, now it used to be a very popular thing years ago until the prices just went sky high. So there aren't many fix and flips out there. However, you can still find them. All right. So one of my ways, or one of the tricks that I have to finding a fix and flip, is to look for REO properties, foreclosure properties. Now, you're going to do a regular RE1 search, which is a single family home search, right? And let's go ahead and select Miami-Dade County, and let's select single family home. I'm also going to select single here for type of property. Make sure that we exclude mobile homes. And then in the additional fields, you want to add REO. REO stands for what? Real estate owned. In other words, bank owned properties, right? These are foreclosed properties. These are not pre-foreclosures. These are not list pendants. These are already passed. All right, so we're looking for REO properties. We're going to hit yes for an REO property. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take a quick pause real quick here. Um, can you guys all see my screen? Because I have a comment on the chat that you cannot see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen, Robert.
You can see my screen? I figured. I'm not sure why that's happening, but I am sharing my screen, and if at least one of you can see my screen.
I can see your screen, Robert, but it's your picture, your profile picture. Are you sharing anything else or just that?
Yeah, I'm sharing the MLS.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I can't see it, but don't let me stop you. If others can see it, that's fine.
No, that's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and reshare it. And let's see. How about now?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So once again, let's just go ahead and start all over. So here we are inside the MLS, and we're gonna look for properties that are fix and flips. Let's begin with that. So you guys are gonna go and you're gonna conduct an RE1 search, which is a single family home. We're gonna hit active and we're gonna hit single family home, and then over here in type of property, we're gonna hit single. We're gonna keep it in Miami-Dade County. And then we're gonna scroll down to the additional field section and we're gonna select REO. Now, if you haven't added REO as one of your additional fields, you just need to click on add remove. Go ahead and add REO as one of your additional fields. All right, there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and select yes. All right. Again, these are foreclosed properties. These are bank-owned properties. And we currently have 13. Once upon a time, I would do this search in Miami-Dade County. We had well over 100. That's not the case anymore. So that's why it's a little bit more difficult to find this kind of property. All right. So we're going to go ahead and click on results. And these are the results that we have in Miami-Dade County for REOs. There are 13, and I didn't put any kind of price range or anything. We're just looking at everything that comes up. All right. So we went from 299,000 all the way to $12 million. So there's a $12 million bank owned property right here. Okay. We're going to begin with the first one. All right. And this is a single family home, unincorporated Miami-Dade County. It's 1915 Northwest 83rd Street. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, very smallish home. All right. I am not going to look at that one. That's just way too small. Okay. We have here another home. It's in Miami-Dade County, and there's the address 2353 Northwest 81st Street. This is listed at nearly $300,000. Okay. You want to read the remarks. You want to read the broker remarks. All right. So this is a tenant occupied property. You can drive by. Okay. And you can call the listing agent to schedule an appointment. This property is on the market and it has been on the market now for 204 days. Obviously, tenant occupied may be a little difficult to sell the property. All right, the first thing I'd like to do is always take a look at the property history. So right here we have property history. We're going to go ahead and see that this property, they've been trying to sell it now since November of last year. Same price, 299,900. They have not lowered the price. They've gone from active to temporary off the market to pending, back to active to pending, back to active, and then we have active under contract and then back to active. So apparently they've been struggling to sell this house. There's probably some red flags. There's issues why they've been struggling to sell the house. So we pretty much know that 299,900 is probably not going to be the price. All right, they may accept a lower price than that. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and click on listing. Of course, you may want to go preview the house, and this is the 25 pictures from the house. It is tenant occupied. This is what the house looks like inside. This is what you can expect from a fix and flip. Guys, it's not going to be in the best conditions at all. And then, of course, you must do your due diligence. Is the structure safe? Is the foundation safe? There are things with the house that are going to require additional money, right? But let's say your client decides, hey, I want to purchase this house. So what is the potential returns on a property like this? Well, first, we need to find out what the market value for a house this size in this neighborhood is. So I'm going to use IMAP. Right up here, there's a little I symbol. That's the IMAP symbol. We're going to go ahead and click there, and that's going to help us determine a market value for this property. So as you can see, this is owned by an LLC, probably an investor who bought it in foreclosure, right? And you're going to see here a certificate of transfer and the last sale of the property. And it was for 192,200. This is a telling point here, guys. This was a foreclosure and it occurred in October of 23 and the price was 192,200. They're trying to sell the property for $100,000 more. Okay. So keep that in mind when you're trying to build a offer price. Now, IMAP, especially the new IMAP, this is the new version of IMAP, folks. The new version of IMAP gives you an estimated value of the property, and that's currently looking at $409,000. Now, of course, we do want to run our own comp value. But before we do so, guys, pay attention to this red warning that you see here. There are several years of back taxes due on this property. So not only is it an REO, but also there's money owed to Miami-Dade County for their property taxes. All right, we've got 21, 22, and 2023 unpaid property taxes. You can always check out the balance by clicking on County Tax Collector right here. It's going to open up a new window and it's going to tell you what the unpaid balance is per Miami-Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach County, whatever county it may be. So the unpaid or total amount due right now is a $12,129. So on top of the purchase price, you're also going to have to pay the property taxes on this home. Why? Because this is a foreclosure. You know, this is a bank-owned property and the bank has not paid these taxes. Okay. All right, so closing that out and going back to IMAP. How do we run a CMA on IMAP? We're going to go ahead and click on Find Comparables here on the right-hand side. All right, by selecting Find Comparables, based on the preset criteria that you may have set up in IMAP, you are going to find comps within that general area. Now, my preset criteria stands like this. Lot square foot, 20% difference. Building square foot, 20% difference. Now, we're going to go ahead and switch the location within a half a mile. And we're going to switch the time for the properties that sold to 6 months. And then we're going to go ahead and hit update criteria. All right. So that's going to give us one comparable. All right. That's going to give us one comparable, and that's right over here. And that property sold for how much? $375,000. Now, if you want to see more properties within a 6-month period, then we may stretch this out to 1 mile and then click on update criteria. And now we're looking at several sales within the same area. However, this little gray radius that you see here, that's your half-mile radius. And this red radius is your 1 mile radius. So perhaps you may want to remove number 3. It's on the other side of a main street. Let's go ahead and remove number 3. All right. So here's number 3. I'm going to go ahead and remove that one. And now we're looking at properties all on the same side of the street, pretty much on the same neighborhood. All right, so guys, we're looking at an average of $414,600 with a possible high-end value of almost $500,000, $497,600. All right, so the idea is that if we were to purchase this property somewhere in the 200 and let's say $75,000 range, you do have enough room to maybe remodel the home and make a profit. And the way that we're going to try and figure this out is by using a tool inside of RPR, which RPR is inside of your Miami Gateway. It's right here, but also inside of your MLS listing, which is right here, or even inside of IMAP. If you look to the right, it's right here. So there are several ways that we can access RPR, and RPR is going to help us determine the potential returns on a property like this. So let's go ahead and initiate RPR by clicking on it, either from IMAP, the MLS, or logging in directly into RPR. All right, so here we are, guys. This is the property. And don't pay attention to the RVM. That's just an estimated value. We see what the comps look like, right? So we're going to go ahead and run the report that we came here to run, which is this one right here. All right. It's an analysis on the investment, and it's with a program called Evaluate. And there it is. We're going to go ahead and click there, and then we're going to click on what? Continue. All right, we're gonna click on continue. Now, guys, if this happens to you where it says you must upgrade, all right, there's no need for us to upgrade our storage or memory. We're just gonna go ahead and click here. And then we're gonna go and select only the property that we're currently going to study, which is this one right here. And then we're gonna click on submit selection. This is a free service. However, it only allows you to save 5 properties in the system before it asks you to upgrade your storage. So I'm going to go ahead and just select the one property that we're going to study right now. We're going to click on submit selection, and now we can move on. Okay. Now, once you land in this page, you need to determine what type of investment are we going to study. We are going to study what? A fix and flip, right? So we're going to do a flip. And then you also have long term. Long term is that you're going to purchase property, you're going to rent it, and you're going to try and determine what your profit is every year from your rental income. And we will practice that as well. Okay, but right now we're doing the fix and flip scenario. So we're going to click on flip. First thing we're going to do is determine what the purchase price. So we've seen that this property has had several issues trying to sell in the last year, and it is currently still listed at 299,900. Let's go ahead and say that we win this property at 270, right? We submit an offer, it gets accepted, and we're going to purchase this property at $270,000. Now we need to determine what the full year holding cost is. Even if you're not going to hold the property for a full year, it helps us by plugging in what the cost is for a full year, and then we prorate it. All right. So beginning with the taxes, if you go back to IMAP, okay, if you go back to IMAP and you go here and you click on property tax, you're going to see what the property taxes are. They're probably right around $4,000. All right. So they're probably right around $4,000. We're going to go back over here and we're going to put in $4,000. Now, how much would it be to insure a property like this? Let's say that we take out a $3,000 insurance policy on this property, and it's probably low, but I'm going to go ahead and just estimate $3,000 for insurance. So now we have insurance and we have taxes taken care of. And then we have to also pay for utilities, right? We got to pay for running water and electricity. So let's say that together, combined, it's going to cost us $300 a month. So $300 a month is $3,600 for the year. So we're looking at right now a total of $10,600 for a yearly expense, for taxes, for utilities, and for insurance. Once again, those are estimates, right? All right, so beginning when are we purchasing this property? Let's say we're gonna purchase it July 1st, and we're gonna plan to hold this property for 6 months. All right, we should be able to remodel the property, place it on the market, and sell it within 6 months. So let's go ahead and put in a 6-month time period here. Loan to value. Now, if you're going to use a hard money lender, they're going to loan you a large sum for you to make this happen. You're going to put here the percentage that they're going to loan you. Let's say they're loaning us 80%. All right. They're loaning us 80%. And of course, that's going to be at a higher interest rate because this is a very short-term loan, usually a year. So the interest is going to be 10%. All right, interest is going to be 10%. So right off the bat, we know that we have to come up with 20% of the purchase price to get this deal done with a hard money lender. Of course, if we're going to buy cash, then there's no need to worry about none of this. You will see 2 scenarios in this study, a cash scenario and a financed scenario, which in this case, this is a financed scenario. We're going to go ahead and click on submit. We're not done yet. We just got to get through this first part. Now we're going to go here to where it says purchase and sale at the top. And we're going to plug in some additional numbers. Numbers like renovation budget. Okay. closing costs. So let's go with closing costs first. Normally, you have closing costs, which is right around, say, 3%, right, of the purchase price if you're financing. This is kind of like a cash deal, so let's just go with 2%. 2% of 270. And then we're going to also have to add the amount of the back taxes that we also have to pay. Okay? So 270 times 2%, we're looking at $5,400, and there's an additional $12,000 in back taxes. So we're looking at probably right around $18,000 are going to be our closing costs. Got to pay that lien, right? Got to pay that county lien for the back taxes. Otherwise, it would have been $5,400 for closing costs. Then our renovation budget, guys. Now, I'm just going to throw a number out here. I don't really know what the house looks like. I don't know what type of renovations are needed to the structure of the home. Obviously, we'd like to put in new tile, new bathrooms, new kitchens, and give the house a good feel. Not sure how the roof is. You know, we can only go with what we see here. Okay? We can only go with what we see here. But right now, I'm just going to go back over here and see that our renovation budget is going to be, say, $80,000. All right, we're going to spend $80,000 to really, really do a good job on this home. Okay. So we're looking at $80,000 renovation. We're going to look at closing costs $18,000. That's huge. That's a lot. That county tax lien is, obviously going to take a huge chunk of your profit. And then go off to the right-hand side, and where it says sale, how much do you plan on selling this house for? Well, IMAP told us that we can go as high as $497,000. All right, keep in mind, we are going to renovate the home. We're going to leave it in pristine conditions. So if the highest sale in this area leads to 497 in the last 6 months, then I'm going to go slightly higher because we are going to remodel this house. So let's say that we sell this house at $505,000. I'm going to put in here $505,000, and that is our gross valuation sales price in 6 months, right? Now, how much is it going to cost us to sell the home? That's the compensation that we're going to be paying. Let's say 3%. All right, let's say 3%. All right, guys, so take a look at what your profit margin is at $505,000 sales price after you purchased the home for $270, spent $80,000 renovating the property, and you have your closing cost of $18,000 plus the prorated monthly expenses for taxes, insurance, and utilities. We're looking at an all cash profit of $116,550, and that's a 23% profit margin. If you finance, right, if you take that hard money loan out, then you're looking at $101,000 profit, or a 20% profit margin. And that, of course, is if we sell it at 505. Well, wait a minute. What if we can't sell it at 505? What if we end up selling it at 490? Does this still look good? Does it still look appealing to your investor? Telling your investor, hey, look, I've got an opportunity for you to buy a house, renovate it, and make a 20% profit in 6 months. That's if we sell it at 490. This is still looking very good, isn't it? Right? It's still looking very good. Even if they have to take out a 80% loan on this transaction, you're still looking at almost 18% profit. This loan that they're taking out is costing them, if you do the quick math here, about $15,000 in interest. Use a hard money lender's capital to make this investment work for you. You don't have to invest your full bankroll on this. Okay. So You can play around with the numbers. You can increase the purchase price. You can decrease the purchase price. You can increase the renovation budget. You can decrease that one too. Or you can increase the sales price on the property or decrease it and see what your numbers are giving you. At the end of the day, you can go to file, you can go to export, and you can export this into a PDF file or a spreadsheet on Excel. Okay, and this is the analysis for your potential returns on a property like this. Now, notice I didn't go to cash flow or sources of funds or things like that because that's pretty much reserved when you're buying a property for rental purposes. For a quick fix and flip, this is pretty much how far we're gonna go. Now, there's due diligence, guys. Let's I'm just teaching you how to find the property, evaluate the property, and find out its potential returns. There's, there's research. We need to click on the attachments. And what do we have here in the attachments? We have a certificate of use report. So there is a certificate of use. Remember, this property is rented. All right. And we need to check if there's violations. We need to check if there's any other pending liens on the property. Things that will add to the cost of purchasing this home. Okay. Any questions in what we just went through? Because your job is to research any of these properties on the MLS and find out which one offers the best return for your client's investment. All right. Let's take a look at real quick here. Take a look at this property here in Miami Beach. This is 1,349,000. It's a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom. This is an REO, a foreclosure. If I click on IMAP right here, Bank of New York, Mellon, right? And then we're gonna click on find comparables. You got one comp right now, right there. All right, giving this property a value of $1,871,000 per price, per square foot. So even a luxury home or a property that's $1,300,000, even that property can be worth upwards of almost $2 million. So not a bad investment there. All right. So let's go back to Matrix, guys. That's one way you can search for REOs or foreclosed properties. Now, there's other ways, of course. You can go ahead and run a search here. You can use short sales. There aren't going to be many short sales out there. Let's take a look at short sales. 68 in the entire MLS. So it's not like we have a lot of short sales. That's another way that you guys can possibly find investment properties. Also, add to your additional fields a search field called remarks. Let's take a look here. Did I add it? Did I miss it? There it is. Remarks. If you guys want to use a term that is often used to attract investors, go ahead and place it here under remarks in between two asterisks. So for example, I want to put in asterisks and I'm going to put in this 3-letter word here. Not word, but 3-letter phrase here, TLC. Ever notice on the remarks when people say the home needs a little TLC, tender loving care? All right, so that produced 236 results. You can almost guarantee that those properties are going to be listed below its market value because the listing agent themselves is saying the home needs a little TLC. So that's another way that you may find properties that need some renovating, therefore they're listed below its value. Another one that you guys may find is investment or investor, right? If we just spell out the word investor, all right, we got here 2,440 properties that we can go through in the entire MLS. All right, so there are ways to get this done. Okay. Now, all the ways that you guys can find fix and flip properties is through auction websites. Auction.com is just one of them. There's several others like XOME.com. And there's another one I know of called hubzu.com, HUBZU.com. And anyone really can, purchase in these auction websites. All right. And they're going to give you the auction date. They're going to give you the opening bid. And perhaps you can get, a property at a discounted price. And now you have an investment property that you can fix and flip. Okay. I'm not going to go through how to go through it because I'm not going to register, right? I mean, I'm not going to really purchase a home here. I just wanted to let you know. Also, the Miami-Dade County or Broward County or Palm Beach County has a clerk of court website where they sell auction properties. And the one for Miami-Dade is miamidade.realforeclose.com. miamidade.realforeclose.com. You can go to the auction calendar, see what is available. So when you go here, you see what's available. So today is what? June 18th. All right. There is 27 properties being auctioned off on June 24th, 9 on the 25th, 6 on the 26th. The orange symbols or Thursdays are tax deeds that are for sale, certificate of the tax liens that are for sale. All the others are foreclosures, right? Foreclosure auctions through the county clerk of court. Okay. Now, let's go back to the MLS, guys. If your idea is to find a property that you want to purchase and rent, there are several ways that we're going to do this on the MLS. Now, some people are interested in maybe purchasing a condo that allows daily rentals. So let's go here to search RE1, RE2. And if you want to purchase a condo, first we're going to do is we're going to select condo, right? Once you select condo and we come over here and we select type of property condo, next is, can we find a property that allows daily rentals? Okay. We're going to go to the additional fields and we're going to select restrictions. We're going to make sure that we add restrictions, and inside of your restrictions, here we have daily rentals allowed. All right. So the realtor who's listing the property has told us that daily rentals are allowed, and we're down to 894 matches. And now you come here and you say, all right, well, we need this to be in Sunny Isles Beach. All right, Sunny Isles Beach, we got 98 matches. And these are all properties where daily rentals are allowed in Sunny Isles Beach. Go in and study, see how much income can you charge, or how much rent can you charge on a daily basis for a property like this, and is it going to make sense at the end of the day after you take into account the purchase price for the property and the monthly maintenance fees for the property. Okay, those are your daily rentals. I'm going to go back to criteria. Now, if you're not interested in daily rentals, you're just interested in finding a condo that allows you to rent it. All right, we're going to go back to restrictions, and we're no longer going to select daily rentals. We're going to select okay to lease. All right, okay to lease in Sunny Isles results in 467 matches. Now, there's another one that you might want to select, and that's okay to lease first year. Some properties require you to live at the property for 1 or 2 years before you can lease the property. Well, now by selecting okay to lease first year, all right, we're looking at 549 properties in Sunny Isles that allow us to buy it and lease it right away without any type of holding period. Okay, so that's how you find condos that have okay to lease first year. Okay, use the restrictions. Another thing, guys, those of you that are interested in, let's say, Airbnb properties, there is no search criteria for Airbnb. However, you can always come to the remarks. And I'm gonna go ahead and put in between two asterisks, Airbnb, and then put another asterisk there. Now we've got 71 properties in Sunny Isles where the listing agent mentions in the remarks, right? No rental restrictions, can be rented daily, Airbnb allowed. All right, they misspelled allowed. But anyways, as you can see, there are ways for us to find properties that allow Airbnb. And unfortunately, there is no search criteria for it, but in the remarks, you guys can put in asterisk, you can put in Airbnb like I did, and then another asterisk, and every property that shows up most probably will be allowed to use for Airbnb. There are going to be some results where it says no Airbnb allowed, right? I mean, we're asking for a keyword here, and the keyword is Airbnb. So there are chances, or there's going to be times where it says no Airbnb allowed, and this one is Airbnb allowed. Airbnb allowed. All right. And let's look at one more here. No rental restrictions. You have the unique opportunity to tap into the world of Airbnb. All right, any questions on finding condos that allow daily rentals or Airbnb? All right, that's how we're gonna do it inside the MLS. Now, if you have an investor looking for multifamily, there are several types of multifamily properties. There's those that are considered residential multifamily, and there are those that are considered commercial multifamily. Now, the residential multifamily is your RIN, your multifamily income, residential multifamily income. That's your duplex, triplex, and fourplex. And then your 5 units or more are going to be considered commercial multifamily inside of the commercial search. Let's begin with a residential multifamily. In here, you will find duplex, triplex, and fourplex. So let's say we have a client interested in purchasing a fourplex. All right, and they're looking for a fourplex in, let's say, Broward County. Specifically, let's say the city of Hollywood. All right, we're going to put in here Hollywood. So we've got the city of Hollywood coming in with 21 fourplexes for sale. We're going to go ahead and click on results. All right, we're going to click on results, and here are the fourplexes, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and click on one. This is one for $950,000. And the idea is that the realtor should tell us how much income is being generated from each property. All right, so this one, I have no financials, no idea on the financials. Maybe if we check up here in the attachments, they tell us what the financials are. It just says that the property has a violation. So I'm gonna skip that one. We would have to call the realtor themselves. All right, so here's another one in Hollywood, and that one is giving us the monthly incomes. Okay. Now, of course, there are other ways to do this besides just using the monthly income. This is a monthly income, maybe if you're leasing the property for the year, right? But what if you turn this fourplex into an Airbnb? All right. So right now we have $965,000, and we have here a 2-1. There's no way this 2-1 gives you $1,200 a month. There's no way. Okay. 2-1 here for 1884, maybe. That's what we're looking at, closer to 2000. And then a 1-1 for 1300. So let's redo these numbers, right? Let's redo these numbers. Let's say each two bedroom, two bedroom, one bathroom, we rented for say 2000. So that's 4000 right there. Okay. And let's say the 1-1s are going to rent for 1500. So we're looking at $7,000 return, not return, sorry, but $7,000 rent per month. All right. That's using my own numbers, guys. These numbers right here seem a little off. All right, for a 2-1 or for $1,200 when you have a 1-1 here for 1,300 and a 1-1 here for 1,150. I don't think that those are the real numbers. All right, so using my numbers of $2,000 for a 2-1, $2,000 for a 2-1, and $1,500 for each 1-1, we got $7,000 return. Not return, sorry again, but rental. Let's go ahead and use this as a case study. All right, I'm going to take a look here. There's your fourplex. All right, it's in Hollywood. It's for sale at 965,000. Now, before I even run the RPR search, you guys can always see what's the gross number or percentage based on the purchase price. So if you are purchasing the property at 965, okay, and you have a monthly income of $7,000 times 12, you're looking at 84,000 a year. 84,000 a year, and you're purchasing at 965 is a very healthy return. You're almost at 10% gross. So that means that this, based on $7,000 monthly rent, is going to generate some income. Okay, so you can always kind of gauge what the returns are going to be based on your purchase price and the rental income that you generate. So we're going to click on RPR. Here it is. RPR. We're going to click. And we're going to come here. We're going to click on Valuate. Once again, click on Valuate, which is on the right-hand side. And we're going to click on Continue. All right, that's going to open up our Evaluate tool. All right, and then this time we are doing a multifamily. So there it is, multifamily, 4 units. And we mentioned that our gross potential rent is $7,000 a month times 12 equals $84,000. All right, so that's our yearly gross potential rents, $84,000. Now, what are our operating expenses and reserves? So let's begin with taxes. So you go back to the MLS listing and you click on IMAP, right? We're going to go ahead and click on IMAP and we're going to see what the taxes are per year for this multifamily. All right, so right here, taxes last year, 2023, were nearly $9,000. So let's just call this $10,000 in taxes. All right, coming over here, we're going to go ahead and start with $10,000. Now, insuring this property is probably going to cost me somewhere around $7,000. So right away, I'm just going to convert this into $17,000 for taxes and insurance. Next up, what are going to be the utilities that we need to pay? All right. So going back over here to the MLS, we're going to see if any of the utilities are included in the rent. So rent includes sewer, trash removal, and water. So they pay their own electricity, but we have to pay the water. So we have a 4-unit fourplex that we got to pay water. Let's say that water is $50 per unit per month. So now we have 200 per month, and that per year is 2,400. So going back over here, we're going to add another 2,400, giving us now a total of 19,000, all right, $400. So now we have water included, trash removal, right, and sewer, that's part of water. Let's go with an additional $2,000, right? Bringing us now to a total of 21,400. These are all estimates, guys. Of course, you would have to ask the realtor if the owner of the property has financials. And if the owner of the property has financials, you're going to always see them up here in the attachments. And there is a brochure right here. And perhaps some of the expenses are given to us. You see how they have their current rental at 66,408, but they have what's called a pro forma. Basically, how much can you really get for each unit? That comes in way above what we estimated at, we estimated 84,000. They're estimating 93,000. And then they have their operating expenses here, real estate taxes, insurance. So my insurance went way high. You know, I put in 7,000 in insurance. They have 2,500 in insurance. They also have water and trash at 2,000, maintenance and repairs, tour expenses of $15,000. All right, so I am already way above that at 21,000. You know, I don't know how insurance is really $2,500 a year, but that's cheap. I'm just gonna keep it at $21,000, guys. All right. So if there's any other expenses that we need to account for, we add it here. Now, you see this over here, reserves. We should also save some money for reserves. So ideally, what I'd like to do is save at least 1 month rent for reserves. So we're gonna increase this 21,400 by $7,000. So I'm gonna make it a cool $28,000 in expenses. That's your expenses and reserves. Okay. So gross $84,000 rent, expenses 28,000. I went way up, right? I went way above what their estimates are, or their financials are. But that's okay. Now we're gonna purchase this property July 1st. 10 years. You can hold it for 1 all the way to 10 years. We're gonna go say 10 years. And we're gonna take out a 70% loan on this, right? We're gonna come in with 30% down. Our interest rate is gonna be 7%. And then we're gonna click on submit. All right. All right, folks. So based on these numbers, right, with an income of $84,000 a year, you're buying the property for $965. You have a loan of 70% at 7% interest rate. You have an internal rate of return, that's what IRR stands for, of 11.89% on this property, way above 5%. A lot of people are looking for 5%ers. A lot of people are looking for anything over 5%. This thing is returning almost 12% on based on those numbers, of course, right? Based on those numbers. If you were to purchase cash, you're getting an internal rate of return of almost 8%, 7.85%. And that's yearly. Guys, over a 10-year period, all right, you would have made $400,000 on this property, and that's 11.89% yearly of what you invested. What did you invest? You invested 30% of 965,000. So what's 30% of 965? All right, just quick. 965 times 30% is 289,500. So you cleared that mark. You went over, right? You invested $289,000 and you made 11.89% yearly. So over a 10-year period, that's 112%. Sorry, that's 118, almost 19%. So you made 19% more over your investment. That's a great deal. And then if you invested cash only, unlevered, you would have made $767,861 off of your $965,000 total investment, which is really great. Okay, this is a great deal. You can always go to cash flow. You can see where your cash flow is being distributed, right? You can see where everything it goes, your mortgage, your taxes, your insurance, everything is going to be under cash flow. I'm going to go back over here to levered analysis real quick. And here we have levered analysis, and it tells you, again, what your internal rate of return is, your annual cash on cash return. Your cash on cash is positive. As long as this over here remains positive, that means that the investor does not have to put in out of their own pocket to make this deal work. All right, there is a cash return on this property. All right. You can go to what rent roll. Rent roll requires you to break down the rent of each unit per month, and that's gonna be a little bit more work. You can go to sources of funds and you can play around with the interest rate. You can play around with the amount of financing. Currently, you stand at a 6% cap rate, which is very healthy. All right. So I didn't have to look too far to find me a fourplex that works. There are going to be times where you are going to look here and you're not going to be able to find a fourplex that actually works. For example, $1 million. And you have here 2150, 1450, 1400, and 2250. This one seems to be almost the same. I mean, you're paying just like $40,000 more, and you have pretty much more income than what I calculated in the previous property. Because I calculated 2000 and 2000. This is 2150 and 2250. And I calculated 1500 and 1500 for the smaller units. And it's just a little smaller in price. So this one seems to be like another very good deal. Okay. So go for a search, right? I mean, you've got residential multifamily duplex. If they're not interested in a fourplex, then a duplex. Now, guys, keep into account that I did not account for maybe property manager expense, right? You would have to add an expense for a property manager if someone's going to use a property manager. Perhaps your investor's out of town and you're going to manage the property for them. You're going to charge them what, 8-10% to manage the property. There are other expenses that take into account. So going back to matrix, that's your duplex, triplex, and fourplex. Now, if you want to find bigger units, larger units, right? Larger multifamilies, we're gonna go here, we're gonna run a commercial search, which is COM improved, right? COM improved, that's your commercial search. There are two property types you're gonna choose. One, apartments. So where it says property type, building type, apartments. And you're going to hold down your control key or your command key, and you're going to also select residential multifamily. So now we have residential multifamily and we have apartments. All right. So now let's say we're looking for that type of property in Miami-Dade and we're looking to purchase it. So for sale, and we got 146. All right. And let's say that our price range is to not exceed $3 million. Let's go $3 million or less. We got 85 matches. You click on results, and here are our larger sized units, right? Our larger sized units and their price. So you click on one of them, and here is a property that has 8 units, 8-unit multifamily property, and it's for sale at 1.6. Once again, you're gonna have to do the study. Sometimes they tell you how much returns are in the financial section of the MLS. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have an attachment, sometimes they don't. In this case, they're not telling us much. We're gonna have to call, and that's okay. Listing agents do that sometimes. They want to generate a phone call. So here we have another one without attachments. This is $1,675,000. All right, new building built in 22, 5 units. All right, and then it has a gross income of $88,000 a year. 88,000, and it has $1.6 million list price. Well, we already did that, right? I mean, we did 84,000 income for a $965,000 price. That was a great deal. This one seems to be a little worse, obviously, almost double the price for the same type of income. So if you were to run this analysis on RPR, you're gonna definitely see a lot lower than 11.8% internal rate of return. You're probably gonna see somewhere around 4 and 5% internal rate of return. But you know what? That's still better than investing your money in the bank. All right. So use the MLS to find those larger units, and that's going to be under commercial. And you're going to place under commercial, you're going to place what location and what price range do you desire, and go in and see what type of property. This is a larger unit here at 2.6. And let's take a look here. This is a 9-unit fully occupied apartment building. All right, and that coming in at 2.6. Keep in mind that sometimes the lot itself is worth a lot of money. And that's why you may see properties listed at a higher value. Okay. All right, guys, does anyone have any questions on how we went about finding these properties, finding these investment properties, how to analyze these investment properties? You're going to be using the RPR program quite a bit. I mean, if I just go back here, right, to this property right here, $2.6 million. And no financials. So we have no financials, and we have here an attachment and basically a non-disclosure agreement. So we would have to call the listing agent to find out what the financials are on this property before we can actually run a study. Or we can say, all right, these are all, these are 9 units, fully occupied, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and a den. So if we know what the 1 plus a den rents for in this part of Miami, then just let's do a guesstimate. Or let's do a guesstimate. So say that they rent for $1,800 times 9. You're looking at 16,200. 16,200 times 12. 194,400 is your gross income yearly, and your purchase price is 2.6. All right, your purchase price is 2.6. So you guys do the math. You're not quite at 10% gross, but you're definitely over 5%. Okay, and that's gonna work. You come to RPR, you do your analysis in the evaluate tool, and that's gonna work. All right, I'll throw some quick numbers out here for you just as a review. I'm gonna go ahead and click on RPR. We're gonna click on evaluate. We're gonna click on continue. All right, this is a multi-family property. So multi-family, and this thing has 9 units, right? 9 units. We're gonna buy it at $2.6 million. The gross rent here is $194,000. And let's say that our expenses, obviously you have to do taxes and insurance and all that stuff. So let's say that I'm just gonna look at my taxes and then I'll come up with a number. All right, so the taxes, there's no way the taxes are that cheap. This is wrong. They're just looking at one apartment there. Yeah, they're looking at just one apartment. The taxes on this are probably going to be somewhere around $20,000. I mean, it's a $2.6 million, so somewhere around $20,000. And let's say utilities and things, let's say our expenses come out to 50,000 a year. 50,000 a year in expenses, including a property manager, someone to maintain, upkeep the property and everything else, right? And we purchased it once again in July 1st for 10 years. And we come in with 25% down, 75% financing at 7% interest rate. So just those preliminary numbers, you know, again, guesstimating completely. We would have to really find out the numbers. You're looking at an internal rate of return of 9.3%. Now, those yearly expenses are probably going to be a lot more. All right, I was just guessing there, but they're going to probably be a lot more. But I mean, again, you're looking at a very healthy return if each of these units rents at $1,800 a month. Okay. All right, guys, that's going to conclude our training on investment properties. If anyone has any questions, you guys can always reach me. You know how to reach me, and I'd be more than happy to walk you through some of these steps again. I want to thank everyone for attending today's course, and I did record it and I will share it with you later this afternoon, guys. So thank you so much. I want to wish everyone a very productive day, and we'll see you next Thursday. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, thank you for the training, Robert. Have a good day.
Thank you,
Bye.
Gil.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Robert.
guys.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone for joining.